So I was watching a video recently on Reed's Smart Home channel. He's awesome, you should go and check him out if you haven't already. But in that video, he was setting up some lighting based automations, which triggered based on whether his Apple TV was played and paused, which I thought looked really slick. He also mentioned in that video that you can't set this up entirely using Apple Home, because for some absolutely crazy reason, Apple doesn't expose play and pause as triggers in Apple Home. However, considering that he has this working and he uses Home Assistant, I figured there must be some sort of API that he's utilising to know whether it's paused or played. So I went and looked in HomeBridge for plugins and I struck gold. I discovered this brilliant plugin by Maxaleith called Apple TV Enhanced. Once installed, it finds all the Apple TVs on your local network and provides you with a link in the HomeBridge log where you can go through each one and enter the pairing code that appears on the TV. Once you've done that, the plugin is now able to expose each Apple TV as a separate TV or set-top box. So you can then simply add each one into your Apple Home like any other device and unlock a wealth of switches and motion sensors, which you can create automations with. If you open up the set-top box itself, it shows each of your apps on the Apple TV as a channel. So that allows you to create scenes which launch specific apps on the Apple TV. It also optionally exposes several motion sensors, which when triggered, tell you whether something is playing. But it also allows you to have one for each media type, so you can have a separate one for video and music if you want. And finally, it exposes a whole bunch of switches, which correspond to a button on your physical remote. So by turning each one on, you can trigger an action on the remote that could navigate through the Apple TV user interface to open specific shows and movies, which is super exciting. The options that this plugin opens up are mind-blowing. I made a Siri shortcut the other day which can fire up the TV, open Netflix, select the kids profile and start playing whatever they were last watching, all by simply tapping one shortcut, or just asking Siri to run it. It has also made some of my existing automations so much smarter, including recreating the lighting changes on play pause that Reed has shown off, except it's all done entirely within Apple Home. So let's get into how I set this up. First of all, fire up the Home app and hit the plus in the top right hand corner to add a new automation. Then select a sensor detects something, and here you can see the various motion sensors that are added by the plugin. So for the first automation, I'm going to select the paused motion sensor, detects motion, and then I'm going to select the scene that I want it to run when I pause the TV, which is my ad break scene, which we usually run when there's an ad break and we want to go and make a cup of tea. And at this stage, all that's left is to give it a name and click done. And now when you pause the TV, it will run your ad break scene, which if I tap into here, you can see adjusts the lighting and pauses the Apple TV. So now the next step is to create the opposite automation. So we once again select when a sensor detects something, and this time I'm going to select the video motion sensor, because I only want this to happen when I start playing a video of some sort. And once again, detects motion, and this time I'm going to select my movie time scene, which basically reverts what the other scene did. So once again, we simply give it a name and tap done, and that's it. Both of our automations are now set up. So all that's left is to say thanks again to Reed for this excellent video which showed me all of this was possible. Hopefully you Apple Home users will find this video useful in recreating some of these great automations yourselves, at least until Apple finally makes it possible to do this completely natively one day. In the meantime, if you manage to set this up yourself for some creative automations of your own, I'd love to hear about those in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more of these creative Apple Home solutions in future, and be sure to consider supporting the channel in any way you can over at my website, and I will see you next time.